Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again to do what I have been given to do. Let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with Bishop Long? You know the preacher that was really dazzling it up with some of the young men in the church? You familiar with Catholic priests, how they abused some of the people in the church? You remember how pathetic it was a few years ago when everybody was talking about the abuse of kids. Let me ask you, could these guys who've been put out of power, could they come back, take power, return to authority? Could they actually come back and get in these positions? I think the answer, and each of you would say, is no. Then the question comes, why Trump? Trump has proven he is as corrupt as they come. Yet, 75 million Americans took on the character of Donald J. Trump when they decided to support him. Yes, 75 million Americans. They joined with John Wilkes Booth after killing Abraham Lincoln, or Oswald for killing Kennedy, or the young man that killed Dr. King, or the young man that killed Malcolm X. That's just to mention a few. Well, 75 million Americans joined with these murderers when they supported Donald Trump. 75 million Americans want to destroy this nation. They joined history in the persecution of blacks and minorities and those of color. They joined in Jim Crow. 75 million Americans, including blacks, joined in with Trump and those guys who want to reinstitute slavery, get everybody else out of the country, get black people back in the field working a day for a quarter or 50 cents. It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen, but sometimes somebody have to take a little bit of time out of love, if they know anything, and share something to those perhaps who might not know. You know, 75 million Americans, as I said, they joined history with the persecution of blacks and minorities for over 400 years. And today, blacks join with them. Now, we know that people are ignorant. We know people don't know any better. We know that if somebody tells you something and you believe them, it might be a lie. But if you believe it, you believe it. And so it might come back to bite you if it's not the truth. Those who have joined evil in a selfish attempt to get theirs and damn the others, they're going to share a rough trip with Mr. Greatest Man on Earth, Mr. Trump. Trump's solutions are deception, lie, cheat, steal, pretend you got money, and have white power in and under white supremacy. As far as he is concerned, the 72 million who voted for Democrats and those who did not vote at all can all go to hell. I want you to always remember the evil and ugliness expressed in this country right now, as we see it, and it is at its worst as we've ever seen it, I want you to know it was born right here in the good old US of A, under the guise of white power and white supremacy. This system is ready to claim this country and everyone in it. The only help that is available is God. And I'm talking about the real God, not the God of this hell that we have created. The true God of love is what I'm talking to you about, that offers everyone here on earth peace and prosperity, that offers everyone freedom, joy, and happiness. And for each and every last one of you, however many millions or billions there are of you, to live your dreams. That's the God I want you to know about, where your needs, your wants, and your desires are met always at your command. And you're suffering for nothing that has been determined by the people as necessary for satisfaction. And it is made at the hands of men. The truth is, God provided the earth and the resources, and we the people, we use them to do what we've done. Now, we've done it. It's beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. We've done this, all done by humankind. And we've done it for each other. And the thing that made it so fantastic is that each one of us who participated in the process of causing a manifestation of all these wonderful goods and services that we have created, this heaven on earth, we did it by choosing a career that gave us our greatest joy. So we spent our lives enjoying living. And as we were enjoying living, we were creating more heaven every moment. Heaven enough to spread all over the face of the earth. And we didn't have to use any of anyone else's ideas, because they've all been tried, they've all failed. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I have no problem saying to you, yes, we understand you chose Trump, you chose lies because what you have been exposed to had failed you. And so lies were offered to you. And so you've decided to choose ugliness, thinking it's going to get you out, but ugliness is not going to get you out. You probably could have chosen God, but you haven't seen or heard of a God of love. You've heard a God of trickery, a God of punishment, a God of brutality. That's what you've heard of. You've heard of a God who wants to persecute you. You heard of a God that doesn't love you. But see, that was because they didn't want you to know of the true God of love, who wanted you to live as though you were an angel, as you perceive angels to be. And the love that God pours down, rains down on everybody in the United States of America, but not ending here. Every human being on the face of the earth can smile from ear to ear. This is something, ladies and gentlemen, that you have not been exposed to, but I guarantee you, you're in a situation where you can choose to have your heaven on earth, or you can choose to stick with what's going on, and you will end your tail right up in hell. Now, what do I mean? I'm not talking about hell where everything is burning, though it might be. But I'm talking about where you are persecuted, where you don't mean anything to yourself but to everybody else. This is by giving up your trust in a demon. And, you know, it's not just necessarily your fault. It's everybody's fault. And so the God of love sends a young man like me, happens to be black, happens to be a descendant of slaves, happen to be a descendant of people who've gone through all the persecution that white folks want to try to generate again, and people of the world in the reach for power are willing to do all kind of killing and stuff like this. Well, that loving God wants you to know that the power to change these things are in your hand. The power that have ruled you only ruled you because you bent. Stand up. And what gives you the power to stand up is truth. And you know exactly what I've said is what you want. And you know that no one owns the earth. And you know that no man is bigger than you or better than you, even though you pretend though they might be. You know they aren't. But I want you to know that this whole world, my friends, it can blossom, but it will only blossom for all of us. It will never find itself blossoming for just a few. When you find that's going on, it's nothing but that old same old evil trying to run a con on you. So keep your eyes open, but most of all, always be willing to do the right thing. And what is the right thing? Doing unto others as you'd have others do unto you. If you can do that, that means that you respect the power that you can't see. And the power that you can't see will live in you and through you will cause a manifestation of what you've been trying to die to go get. Now it's a pleasure and a joy in creating. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me this your time. But I don't want you to just click this thing and get off. I want you to get excited. I want you to know that the world can change and the world can be beautiful. I don't care what kind of hell you've been through. I'm sorry you went through it. I'm sorry all of you have gone through the hell that you've gone through. And I'm sorry I didn't have the courage enough to stand up or the knowledge enough to be able to stand up and tell you the truth. But you got to stand up. You got to put your faith in God and believe that God can do it, because that God is living in you. And ain't nothing going to stop you from doing what you got to do. Talk to you later.